Welcome to Principle 11, the Emotional Toolkit. Because we live in a world where there is both happiness and sadness, where there is both joy and sorrow, where there is both elation and depression, where there is both support and challenge, because we live in a world that has both of these sides, and we'll get a fair share of all of them, this means that inevitably, sometimes you're going to get knocked off balance. Inevitably, something's going to come along that you either didn't see coming or you didn't know how to manage, and it's going to knock you off your track. This isn't being weak. This isn't a flaw. This isn't a lack in you of any kind. This is being human. And the reason that we want to bring our attention to Principle 11 is because in these moments, when we have a wobble, we want to make sure we've got a diverse and dynamic range of tools to help us get back on track. Because sometimes we're just going to have a wobble. That's just how life works. If you don't have any tools, if you don't have an emotional toolkit, then those challenges might first of all take you really far off track, or it might just be really difficult for you to get back on track, so you don't have any ways of getting back on the path that you were on. The emotional toolkit will be completely dependent on you because it will be based on your values, what you find helpful. But by creating this range of tools, it allows you to know that regardless of what happens, you've got something that you can reach towards to help nudge you back in the right direction. The list of these tools is endless. It could be yoga, it could be dancing, it could be doing press-ups, it could be time in the gym, it could be hypnotherapy recordings, it could be meditation, it could be journaling, it could be arts and crafts. There's an endless list of what it could be, but the important thing is to create a range of them. So there are a few key concepts that we want to think about when it comes to the emotional toolkit. First of all is that you want to develop a range of tools. So we want to develop a range of tools because in certain moods and certain situations, some things will work and some things won't work. If you've only got one tool, as the saying goes, if everything looks like a nail, all you have is a hammer. So when we think about the emotional toolkit, we need to have a range of things so we can apply things depending on the situation that you're in. So the first one is to develop a range of tools. The second one is to think about the tools that help both mind, body, and spirit. So the range that we're talking about wants to cover mind, body, and spirit. So mind, for example, might be a cognitive exercise. It might be a cognitive process that you work through to change your emotions around your topic. It could be a hypnotherapy recording. It might be a meditation that you do. Those are all things that you use to adjust how your mind is feeling. Body is where we get you to do actions or behaviors that then influence up the chain. So whereas a cognitive exercise is top down, when we think about a body exercise, that's bottom up. So we're using your physiology to actually change how you're feeling. And then the last one is spirit. Now, spirituality means something different to everyone. It might mean something religious for you. More often than not, it means just something that's important to you. So, for example, I might say, for me, spirituality is being really connected to my wife and family. For me, that's really important. For others, it might be something to do with their faith or their religion, and it doesn't matter what it is, but for you, find something that connects to what you find spiritual. So we've got a range of tools, and then we've got to cover a range of bases. Next, we also want availability. So we want a range of tools that will be available in different times and places. For example, you might find a professional coaching session, one-to-one, is able to transform the way you think about a past event in less than 50 minutes. But when it's 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to get a coaching session to be able to change the way that you think. So you need to have tools that will be available for different times of day and in different scenarios. If, for example, you've got a hypnotherapy recording that you know you've got in your inbox and you can stick on at any time, that gives you a tool to change the way that you feel. And then last but not least, we've got Timeframe. Now, this is thinking about what is the time needed for that tool to take an effect. You might have a meditation that takes an hour to go through, which might give you a brilliant result, but if you've only got 15 minutes, that tool isn't going to be helpful for you. Whereas if you've got a playlist on your Spotify, for example, and you've got 2 or 3 songs that can quickly change your mood, then all of a sudden you've got a different tool that's actually applicable for when you need it. So we want a range of tools. We want tools that cover mind, body, and spirit. We want different availability of tools, so you know you've got various ones to pick from. And we want time frames, so depending on the situation you're on, you can apply different things. So the emotional toolkit is vital for everyone, so think about putting yours together.